Suspected Chinese malware has been discovered covertly embedded within several U.S. military systems, raising concerns among officials due to its intended purpose being focused on disruption rather than mere surveillance. Experts have described this shift in intent as disturbing. Various U.S. military systems have been found to contain suspected Chinese malware, which stands out from typical surveillance-oriented malware. Instead of merely observing activities, this malicious software appears to be designed with the intent to disrupt operations. Notably, the potential consequences are not limited to military activities, as it could also disrupt civilian life and businesses. The discovery of this suspected Chinese malware in multiple military systems has raised concerns among U.S. officials and experts. Unlike previous incidents, the focus of this malware is more on causing disruption rather than solely gathering information. The New York Times reported on these attacks in May, with the first public awareness stemming from Microsoft's identification of malicious code in telecommunications software used in Guam, where the Andersen Air Force Base is situated. According to the Times, U.S. officials have been conducting investigations into Chinese malware for several months, discovering that the malicious code has infiltrated U.S. military systems both domestically and internationally. Unlike previous cyber attacks that primarily aimed at surveillance, this new wave of malicious code is designed to potentially disrupt both U.S. military and civilian operations. At the Intelligence and National Security Summit, George Barnes, the Deputy Director of the National Security Agency, emphasized China's persistent efforts to penetrate various critical aspects of the U.S., such as government, companies, and critical infrastructure. Rob Joyce, the Director of Cybersecurity at the NSA, expressed deep concern about the nature of this malware last month, stating that it could enable China to cut off power, water, and communications to military bases and also affect personal homes and businesses across the country. The Times reported that experts are uncertain whether the Chinese government was aware of the malware's presence or how effectively it would work. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken raised the issue of Chinese hacking during a meeting with Chinese diplomats in July, affirming the US's commitment to take appropriate action against those responsible for targeting U.S. government, companies, and citizens. In response to questions from the Times about the matter, the White House's National Security Council spokesman, Adam Hodge, stated that the Biden administration is diligently working to defend the U.S. from any disruptions to critical infrastructure. This includes coordinating interagency efforts to protect water systems, pipelines, rail, aviation systems, and other essential components.
Agent Shadow. I feel well informed now that I understand what malware means. However, I have some additional questions regarding the specific situation. Could you please provide more details about when the equipment in question was purchased? Additionally, I'm curious about the protocols used by the offending code, whether it installs itself or operates on demand, and whether it targets common operating systems or firmware. Are there any available patches to mitigate its impact? Given the vast array of standard network, endpoint, OS layer, IaaS security, and firewall baselines available today, along with on-demand forensic services, it is widely recognized that we need better security measures. It is essential to ensure that we don't simply deploy hardware without implementing a Security Operations Center, SOC, to monitor activities and potential threats. However, I would appreciate more information to understand the specific security measures in place. Am I mistaken in assuming that appropriate security measures, including SOC monitoring, are being implemented?
Agent Phoenix, considering my age, I am inclined to return to using traditional methods like pencil and paper. The wonders of the digital era often come at the cost of personal privacy. And I have concerns that this situation may lead to unfavorable outcomes in the future.
Black Widow. In my view, India is being disregarded in the discussion. They don't even need to resort to hacking tactics because U.S. companies willingly share vast amounts of business data, trade secrets, business correspondence, private information, and more with India, entrusting them to handle our business and personal accounts. It is evident that whenever we communicate, we often end up interacting with someone in India. This matter of foreign companies having control over such sensitive information needs to be brought to the attention of the Senate floor and promptly banned, as it's a straightforward solution to protect our interests.
Nightshade. The most significant disruption lies not in Chinese malware but rather in the refusal and inability of US manufacturers to produce goods in America. While major Department of Defense contractors were once willing to produce large quantities of weapons in the 80s and 90s, they now seem unwilling to manufacture spare parts in smaller quantities, opting out of such projects altogether.
Ghost Whisperer, in the face of this cyber war, our military will increasingly require more computer engineers and programmers. However, a significant challenge arises from the fact that many of our homegrown talents may not excel in math or show much interest in computer-related fields, unless it involves social media or video games. If this trend continues, we may face a future where essential systems like refrigerators and electricity can be remotely shut off, and incessant doorbell rings accompany demands to send Bitcoin to unauthorized location like Tiananmen Square. This situation is likely to persist until there is a positive shift in people's attitudes, fostering a genuine desire to learn and work harder in technical fields without expecting exorbitant compensation for manufacturing roles. In my personal experience in the US, I have found it incredibly challenging to hire skilled technical professionals. Cutting ties with China, as some propose, is not a straightforward solution, as it involves complex global interconnectedness. Instead, it is essential for us to address the root cause of the issue and invest in nurturing a homegrown talent pool that is passionate about technical disciplines, which can ultimately strengthen our cybersecurity defense.
Phantom Hawk, my personal code of conduct as a consumer revolves around consuming less overall and making conscious choices when purchasing products. I strive to support ethical companies that align with my values, and I actively avoid buying anything made in China due to concerns related to safety, quality, and moral implications associated with supporting a nation known for its destructive practices. The reasons for my stance are multifaceted and not necessarily in a specific order. I am particularly cautious about China's involvement in various illicit activities, such as shipping a significant portion of fentanyl ingredients into Mexico, distributing tainted pharmaceuticals linked to cancer risks in the U.S., and flooding the U.S. market with counterfeit goods. Moreover, there have been instances of Chinese entities acquiring properties near U.S. military facilities for potential spying purposes. These actions raise serious doubts about the intentions and behavior of certain individuals or entities within the nation. As a result, I find it essential to be cautious and deliberate in my consumer choices, opting to support companies that prioritize ethical practices and avoiding products from China to minimize any potential risks associated with supporting a nation with questionable practices.
Crimson Dagger. The widespread presence of their malware is undeniable. It seems astonishing that this outcome was not anticipated decades ago, when our jobs were outsourced to China due to low labor costs. From the beginning, I foresaw this possibility. When we shifted our manufacturing to China, it opened the door for the Chinese to capitalize on the situation. Consequently, any technology originating from China should be viewed with suspicion. It is prudent to assume that all Chinese chips might have hidden backdoors, facilitating control or surveillance capabilities. A concerning reality is that every company in China, without exception, must have a member of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, on their board, enabling monitoring of all activities. As a result, it is reasonable to conclude that the influence of the CCP extends to all technologies developed within the country.
Silver Fox. Unfortunately, big business chose to shift numerous jobs to China in pursuit of cost savings. The decision to opt for cheaper products from China rather than investing in domestic factories and paying decent wages has resulted in substantial bonuses in the past. However, today's managers often lack foresight regarding the long-term implications of such cost-cutting measures on the nation. Their focus tends to be solely on the bottom line, and this short-sighted approach has been observed repeatedly. Numerous individuals, including myself, have repeatedly raised concerns about this issue, emphasizing the need to wake up to the potential risks associated with allowing Chinese nationals to access sensitive industries in our universities. It is crucial to subject electronic products from China to thorough screening to safeguard our national security. The time has come for us to be vigilant and take appropriate measures to address these concerns.
Reporting from Spy Games Agency. This is Spider Silk. Take care of yourself and see you in the network.